So I've got a poem to read.
Let's do it.
Do it.
All right, I guess I'll just read it and then tell you when I wrote it and why I wrote it, which I think is pretty interesting. All right, so here it is. It goes like this. And so we went from an invisible politics grafted upon our comfort to politics you eat, drink, and breathe. Propaganda as lens. We forgot our meta. The conditions had been set or had been setting. The sun cuts through space. We could hear it loud as a jet engine. History revealed itself and rolled away from our chests like a red carpet downstairs. As we forgot. Where was I but anonymous in the crowd, looking up? The planet rolls to face the dark, alight within porous gray matter. And I had posted that. I posted in the group if you'd like to read it.
Dude. Good stuff, man.
Oh, yeah. What'd you guys think that was?
Wow. Shit. I thought it was good. That's what I thought. It was almost hypnotic towards the end. It almost made me, it's like your voice kind of put me into like a trance.
Nice.
It was good, man. The way you ended it was very mesmerizing. Good shit, man. Fuck.
Yeah. I guess. What's that?
Hey, I was just got here. I heard your poem. I was wondering about the second line. Was it something? The word was like Armada.
Armada or meta.
Oh, okay.
META.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking it might be a word that I just didn't know, but meta. Yeah, that was awesome poem, man.
Thanks, dude. So I wrote that before Trump was elected, in imagining what if he was, because when I wrote it, it was unimaginable. Like, surely he could not. Like, there's absolutely no way. I think I wrote that actually in August when he was like so low in the polls. It was like there was absolutely no way. Like, Hillary was like at 95%, whatever. And I remember seeing one of his speeches or something like that, and noticing how he was talking about Muslims, and I was really buying into this kind of like like if he gets elected, man, like this would be like out of control, like kind of like a fascist projection upon the public, and revving up that engine again, which some might say has happened, but I find the poem interesting because it was like this kind of predictive. There's this predictive quality to it for me, anyways, because I know where it's sourced, of saying, oh, this is what it would feel like, kind of a thing. And I think part of it is true, where you're ejected out of your usual politics to try to figure out what's happening, and you kind of get immersed into a politics, I guess. That's what happened to me when 2016 went down.
Yeah, I think that happened to many of us.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's something that I find interesting to return to.
It's always interesting to hear, and then the artist kind of explained it because it's such a a grand, thought statement. So, and then to see how you extrapolate art from that is like it's what the process is about. It's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, and I would not write that poem these days. I don't feel that way really about it. I don't think I feel like I've progressed beyond that.
Mm. So that shows the angles. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and how much one changes.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like with that whole situation, for me, I've gone through so many different interpretations of what it means. Like at the beginning, it was pretty like cut and dry. What it seemed like Trump was trying to accomplish. Like he was just like this shock jockey, like racist asshole person, and he's still an asshole. But it's like it seems like there's a lot more layers to it than originally thought.
Yeah, I started to see him as, in science fiction movies, they've got this, there'll be this guy who comes to a cave and they throw a device down the cave. Maybe it's like a drone or something, and it emits this red light that's like a line, and it maps the cave as it goes down. I feel like Trump was kind of like that, in which we just threw him through the government and the state and the media, and we were able to map all the institutions and see how they reacted.
Well, yeah. I mean, even in your poem, you kind of allude to this, like America's having a bad trip because you said the conditions have been set, or have we been the setting? And then this goes into this whole thing that I've been like always playing around with. It comes from kind of the cyberpunk kind of thing, that the internet is acid, and then this other thing that the only valuable trip is a bad trip, meaning that as you reflect, like the things that you have to work on are the things that you're kind of like suppressing. And Saul Williams, who's like one of my favorite poets, before Trump got elected, was saying that Donald Trump is just a reflection of our values. And for people that have been like paying attention for a while, it's like, yeah, of course. Like if you don't like Donald Trump, then maybe we should look at how we're acting and what values are we setting as a culture. It's just reflected into everything, our media, the art, not even art, but more like the TV shows and the music, whatever is popular. It just reflects these kind of values. And during the same time, I wrote this thing called The Death of the Narrative. And it was like kind of like my proclamation of like I was seeing what was coming. I'm just like saying, everybody's freaking out, and I'm just like here proclaiming that the death of the narrative. I'm gonna like fucking just stand on the corpse of the dying civilization, playing around.
Yeah. You know what? I was finding it interesting. You know what, how I've also been thinking about it is almost like Trump as a vaccine, which is interesting that the anti-vaxxers are on the rise. But I was thinking Trump as a vaccine that, anyways, to a liberal, that when you see Trump, you see that strongman fascist imagery. But if you dig down, it's empty. There's nothing actually there. There's nothing to him. He's kind of, he's just a representation of this kind of potential reality. And I think that seeing the antibodies kick in of trying to deal with it, it teaches you about just the system in general.
Well, yeah,
of what the state is, what the body is. And I don't think he's, maybe he and I say this because I don't think conservatives particularly like him. They like what he stands for, but like as far as he goes, I don't think they're like, they're really all about him, to be honest. But I think he kind of serves to that degree. which could be a healthy thing.
Do you have that poem in text?
Yeah, I posted it.
Oh, missed it.
I posted it in the community. Yeah.
That's good stuff, man.